G'day guys, welcome back to the channel with Banisher, and welcome to Dueling Book. I'm going to be just recording a few games of Yu-Gi-Oh! For now, as I'm waiting for Locked On, and I will be doing a review on Locked On as soon as it's finished downloading. So I'm just going to go with a few casual custom games, and I'm going to teach you guys all about the custom cards that support old school Qli decks. And by Qli I mean Qli, the old Qliphort cards. Let me just pull up a random Qliphort monster. Hang on. I will actually exit and show you what I mean. Unfortunately, I don't have any images for the available Qliphort cards, but you know, it's a 45 card deck. It's still pretty slow to begin with, but once it picks up speed really fast. I used to have a 15 card extra deck, but I dropped that down to 3, all because of the Qliphort monsters effects. Pendulum effects, which state as follows. You cannot special summon monsters except Qli monsters. This effect cannot be negated. It's the same with every one of my custom cards, but I'm going to show you a few cards that I have invented myself that deals with anti-bullshit or anti-overpowered decks. Beg your pardon, hang on, I didn't want to go here, sorry. That's my Salomon Great profile. I will go my cards. My first card is Qliphort Fortress. I'm going to probably change its name to Qliphort Administrator. Its pendulum effect is you cannot special summon any monsters except Qli monsters. This effect cannot be negated. If this card is destroyed while it was in a monster zone, you can place this card in your pendulum zone. If this card was destroyed while in a pendulum zone, you can destroy all cards in the field except Qli cards. So basically it wipes the field of anything except Qli cards if it is destroyed. So it's a Ultimate Beast King Barbaros for the Qli decks, except it's level 11. The normal monster effect of this monster is requires 3 Qli tributes to normal summon. Cannot be normal set. Normal summon of this card cannot be negated. Unaffected by the cards or effects, so it's completely immune to all of them. When this card is attacked, negate the effects of the opponent's monster involved, including the graveyard. So basically it's an Abyss Dweller. It's unaffected by card effects, so it is a essentially, if I can get this correct, a Boral Sword, a Boral Load, because they are unaffected by card effects, by targeting. It is a March of the Monarchs as well, so it's, you know, it's immune to almost anything destructive. When this card attacks or is attacked, negate the effects of the opponent's monsters in the graveyard involved, including in the graveyard, so basically it stops any monster effect from activating in the graveyard. When this card destroys an opponent's monster, you can activate 1 Laser Eclipse field spell from your deck. And that is, it's pretty much, I would say one of the latest meta cards that anybody can come up with a balanced effect too. This card's effects can still be negated by skill drain, and that is a rule. Next we have Qliphort Sky Fortress. Must only be special summoned from your hand by sending 1 Qliphort Towers and 1 Qliphort Sky Base you control to the graveyard. This card's special summon cannot be negated. This card's attack and defense become the combined original attack and defense of the monster sent to the graveyard for its summon. This card is unaffected by and cannot be targeted by spell, trap, or monster effects. All monsters on the field lose 500 attack and defense. Once per turn you contribute 1 other Qliphort monster to target 1 monster your opponent controls, take control of it, and if you do, its effects are negated. I should just remove and if you do. Just say its effects are negated instead, just to make more sense. It's permanent too. Once per turn, your opponent sends 2 monsters they control or in their hand to the graveyard. If this card is destroyed, you could target 2 Qli monsters in your graveyard, add those targets to your hand. you can add 2 Qliphort monsters from your graveyard to your hand. So if you have any of your Qliphort monsters that you use for Exceed Summon, for instance, you could just add them to your hand. It's pretty simple. Next is Qliphort X. Basically drops all your opponent's monsters by 500 attack. So it really, this combined with Qliphort Administrator or Fortress, wow, crazy power loss right there. It makes all monsters destructible. If this card is summoned, you can add 1 Qliphort monster from your deck to your hand. If this card is destroyed while it was in a monster zone, you can place this card in your pendulum zone. So basically, it's a normal, generic effect, really, that you would find on all monsters these days. And for this kind of card, if you add 500 attack, beg your pardon, and 300 to its defense, it would have 300 defense. No. If you were to add 300 to its attack and defense, it would have 800 attack and 300 defense, which is... it's okay for a level 1. And all my Qli monsters are Earth. Now we have my next custom card, Banishing Shield. When your opponent activates, this is an anti-bullshit card. When your opponent activates a card or effect that reduces or makes your life points become 0, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card, but banish it instead of sending it to the graveyard. Your opponent cannot activate any more cards or effects with that name for the remainder of this duel. This card can be activated from either the main deck, graveyard, hand, and or if this card is removed from play, either face up or face down. So basically it's an anti-bullshit card that your opponent just cannot counter at all. And I make the rules in these cards, so it's very, very easy to use this one. It's like a Curse Seal, the forbidden spell for any effect that would reduce your life points or make your life points become 0. Our next card is Kathy the Annoying Cat. When your opponent activates the effect of Toby the Annoying Dog or Toby the Annoying Dog number 2, negate the effect. The effect of this card cannot be negated. So basically it stops the 2 Toby the Annoying Dog cards that the opponents sometimes throw in their extra decks. It's bullshit. Anti-bullshit card. And then I invented this card myself and I used the image of Trap Jammer, so Konami, please do not charge me with corruption. This is for, just for the memes, just for funsies. Entertainment purposes only, and I could not invent or generate an image myself. Anyway, Curse Seal of the Forbidden Trap. Activate only when your opponent activates a trap card. Discard 1 trap card, negate the activation if you do destroy that card. Your opponent cannot activate cards with the same name for the rest of this duel. The rest of the duel. This is a Curse Seal of the Forbidden spell, but for traps. Which is overpowered as fuck. I like it. It's hilarious. Anyway, Dice Jar number 2. This card was made by me and a friend. This card is just here for the memes. It is so funny when it goes off. Just like Dice Jar number 1. Yeah. I love this effect. Flip. Both players roll a 6-sided die. The player with the lowest result takes damage equal to their opponent's roll times 1,000. Also, if the winner rolled a 6, flip this card into face down defense position. If both rolls are the same, both players roll again. So it's... This is hilarious, this card. Oh god. Anyway, I made a number card called number 0x1. For example, the start of an error code when it comes to witnessing an error appear on your computer. For example, an exception error. It starts off with a 0x and then it displays whatever number. This one is known as number 0x1. It defends your Qliphort monsters, basically. Cannot attack during each of your standby phases. Detach 1 Exceeds material from this card or destroy it. Once per turn, quick effect, you can make all Qli cards you control unaffected by your opponent's card effects until your next standby phase. If this card is destroyed by your opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 level 3 or higher Qli monster in your graveyard, special summon that target ignoring its summoning conditions. For example, you can activate this card's effect if this card is destroyed, you can activate this effect to target, let's say, a Qliphort Recycler and just special summon it in defense mode. When this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one clear monster in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck. If this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can target one clear monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand.
User entered your channel.
You can only activate one clear monster. You can only use each effect of Qliphort Recycler once per turn and only once that turn. Basically, it's an Elemental Hero Shadow Mist for clear monsters. It's insane, but Elemental Hero Shadow Mist adds a Mask Change or hang on. Let me just go back to Deck Constructor real quick. Here we go. Sorry, I'm having trouble looking for it. Anyway. Yeah, if this card is special summon, you can add a change quick play spell card from your deck to your hand. If this card is set to the graveyard, you can add a hero monster from your deck to your hand. Yes, so that's basically what that is. Oops. Hang on. There we go. That's basically what Qliphort Recycler is. Now that we went over that effect, I won't repeat it again. My next card is Qliphort BIOS, which can only be activated by sending Qliphort Hacking System to the graveyard from the main deck. Activate only during the draw phase and if you drew a clear monster at the start of the duel. Your opponent cannot respond to the activation of these effects and must apply these effects. If your opponent's monster or spell or trap card or effect is activated, it becomes this effect. Trap card, both players draw one card. Spell card, both players draw one card, then discard one card. So basically all spell cards they activate becomes a Dark World Dealings. Every trap card they activate becomes a 1 day of peace, except with it minus the no damage until the end of the opponent's next turn. Monster, send one monster from your hand to the graveyard. Sorry, it's just me drinking. Excuse me. Just had to let out some gas. These effects last until the third end phase after this card's activation. And this card is banished at that time. You can only activate Qliphort BIOS once per duel. So basically, after this effect, and Qliphort Hacking System has finished its effect, they are banished. And it includes your turn, so when you activate this effect during your opponent's turn, if you went second, it would last 2 of your opponent's turns and 1 of yours. So basically it affects the whole duel, not just your opponent's. In the draw phase of this turn of the duel, send this card and 1 Qliphort BIOS from your deck to the graveyard. Apply Qliphort BIOS effect. Banish this card after the third end phase after this effect's activation. You can only activate the effect of Qliphort Hacking System once per duel. So basically it's the same thing. It activates the effect of Qliphort. It's basically the conduit, or in this case the memory stick, so to speak. I should get a photo of a Raspberry Pi and just stick that in there instead. It would be hilarious. Anyway. Our next card is Qliphort Computing. It is a Altergeist protocol, but for Qliphort monsters. If you control another clear card except Qliphort Computing, you can activate this card from your hand. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to clear cards' effects activations. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard by your opponent's card effect, you can add 1 clear spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. Basically, if this card is destroyed, it activates an effect. I think there are new rules applied to the words destroyed and sent for cards that targets a card your opponent controls and sends it to the graveyard. For example, if your opponent targets this with Mellowseek, they can send it to the graveyard. I think that rule, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard by your opponent's card effect, you can add one Qli spell or trap card from your deck to your hand, is simply enough. If memory serves me right. That's a new rule. If this card was destroyed and sent from the field to your graveyard by your opponent's card effect, that would have been a more appropriate effect to place on there. And my new fusion monster that I built is Qliphort Delta Wing. One Qliphort monster plus one monster with 1800 attack. Must be fusion summoned by attributing the above cards you control. When this card is special summoned, look at your opponent's hand. Then shuffle one card in your opponent's hand into the deck. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it... When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, shuffle the destroyed monster into the deck instead of sending it to the graveyard. If this card is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you can special summon one Qli monster from your graveyard, ignoring its summoning conditions. It's a generic fusion, essentially. This is all Qli support, and Canna Fairy support, band support. This is what I make for myself. Only some effects I will release to the public, such as this one. Qliphort Fortification. Pay 800 life points and discard one card. Add one Qliphort monster from your deck to your hand. Our next and final card that we're going to be speaking about today is a really good one. And it has a condition on it. Activate only if an Qliphort monster is destroyed by battle or card effect. Target one of those monsters, special summon that target ignoring its summoning conditions. And if you do, target one other Qliphort monster that was destroyed. Shuffle it into the deck. You can only activate one Qliphort rebuild per turn. I should get a continuous spell known as Qliphort Assembly Line. Oh yeah. But that's just my take on custom cards, guys. Without further ado, you guys have yourselves a great day. It is the 13th of March 2019. So if you guys wouldn't mind smacking that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and Konami, please do not charge me for what's its face or anything like that. Copyright of Trap Jammer image. Weird. Some of the stuff that I hear. But if you guys enjoyed, then please slap that like button. Unfortunately, there's no epic music or anything like that. But yeah, please slap that like button, subscribe, and turn on that notifications bell to be informed of when I upload it next. So without further ado, guys, you guys have yourselves a good one. This is Banish Your Evil Soul, signing off.